Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the prelim fights for UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus, Cerrone versus Gaethje. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first prelim. So in our first fight, we have in the featherweight division, Prepolec versus Hubbard. So first, both fighters are coming off losses. Both fighters are coming off their debuts in the UFC. Both coming off pretty much tough losses. But they both made the decision. They both showed their heart, both showed their grit. But they came up on the losing end. And it wasn't that competitive. So it's clear-cut losses. But they showed their toughness. And they showed what they have to bring to the table. But between these two right here, both solid fighters. I just think that Hubbard is the more well-rounded fighter. I think his grappling's better. Prepolec might be a little bit better than striking, but all around, I think Hubbard puts the striking and grappling together better. I think his grappling is better at the moment. And I think that's what's going to come down to be a close contested fight. But the fact that Hubbard can mix it up better and that can take it to his area where he has a clear strength at, I think that's going to be the tell of the fight's going to be close, going to be competitive. But I think the takedowns, then maybe the pressure with the striking and the threat of the takedown will allow him to edge a close decision over Prepolec. But Prepolec is a very tough guy, solid chin. Hubbard, same thing. I don't think it's going to be a finish in this fight. It's going to be tough, it's going to be gritty and grindy. But I think it's going to be Hubbard getting a clear enough decision. I don't think it's going to be like no split decision. It's going to be close, but it's going to be clear cut that Hubbard wins the decision. So in this fight, I have Hubbard via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Smolka versus Macdonald. So Macdonald has a lot of talent, a nice long frame, some decent striking, decent this, decent that. Like he certainly has. If he can start adding, like building on those skills, he could certainly turn into a dangerous fighter. But right now, I still just think he's too green. And I think Smolka is better in every area. Better striking, better grappling, experience, way more experience than at the highest level. I think Smolka could beat him on the feet or on the ground. And I think he does both. I think he beats him on the feet, gets to the ground, mixes in the grappling, and is able to submit him in the second round. So in this fight, I got Smolka via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Skelly versus Griffin. So you got two talented fighters right here. Skelly was certainly one of the more promising prospects or promising contenders a couple years back. But I think, was he out for a period of time for whatever reason? Was it an injury or something? I think he was out for a period of time, came back, lost, and lost again, I believe. Or was he lost, then went on a hiatus, then came back? Whatever the case. Skelly's solid, awkward striking, but very creative on the ground with his grappling, very snappy with his submissions. He's a very talented, dangerous guy, especially on the ground. On the feet, he's dangerous too, but it's kind of an unorthodox type of striking, not the most technical in a way, but he makes it work for him. Weird build, but a very dangerous guy. You got Griffin on the other side coming in. He's the only one in the UFC, not the most experienced inside the UFC, but he's a guy that with very solid grappling, solid striking as well. I think he's the more well-rounded fighter in a way. I think Skelly probably is a better grappler than him. But striking-wise, I think Griffin's more technical, more crisp with his striking. Both have longer frames. But I think with this fight, it's kind of like a momentum thing. Skelly's had inactivities. He's riding multiple losses. And where Griffin, he's riding a loss, but he lost to a guy that's on a hot streak, and he lost not the most, what's called, the worst performance against a guy, Danny, who's on a tear right now in the division. Getting finishes, beating solid guys, and just running through people. So, like I said, momentum, Skelly's been skidding and inactive. Griffin at least been fresh. Coming off only loss to a guy that's on a hot streak, and he still put up a pretty impressive performance, and that was on his debut. I think this fight, Griffin's debut, it's going to be a gritty, scrambling type of fight, I believe. But I think on the feet, going to be kind of the different. I think Griffin's going to be landing the more crisper shots, landing the more telling shots. I think in general, he's going to be landing more shots. So he'll be landing the more significant shots and landing the volume as well. I think there will be scrambles here and there. I think Griffin will be able to hold his own, but I think the strike differential will be the tell of this fight. It'll be close, but I got Griffin winning the decision. So in this fight, I have Griffin via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division, Katona versus Azure. Or Azure, like they got on Xbox or whatever. Some cloud thing, but whatever case. Back to MMA. So you got Katona versus Azure. So you got two solid wrestlers. I think Azure is a 4-time Montana state champion in high school, so that don't say nothing about college. And sometimes it'd be a lot of phenomenal high school wrestlers that don't amount to nothing in college. Be phenomenal college wrestlers don't amount to nothing in the world stage. So high school over, at this point, nobody really cares about high school. You can say you got it, it's definitely there, but I'm not too high on high school, but I'm still going to say he's a solid wrestler. I might even say he's the better, I'm not even going to say that. But two solid wrestlers here, but I think to get to the point, two solid wrestlers, Azure may be better, he may not be better. I'm not even going to debate that. I'm not even going to look into that. But he certainly has it. He's physical. He got some power in his hands. But I think Katona is just much more technical on the feet. Like Azure might just throw one-off big shots here and there, one leg. But Katona can really mix it up his striking. He can mix it into his wrestling, whereas Azure is really kind of rudimentary and kind of basic with his stuff. And even his setup's kind of slow. It's more so his strength and technique with his wrestling that gets stuff secured more so than how well he blends his striking with his wrestling. Because it's not that great a blend. It's kind of slow, but he's physically strong and the technique's there. Whereas Katona has the strength, the technique, and the ability to blend it and at a very quick pace. And he's been doing it at the highest level. He's came off what's called the undefeated season of Ultimate Fighter. Been fighting UFC for like 3 fights now. I think he's just been at this level where Azure is just getting to this level. So I think wrestling, they could pretty much neutralize each other out. But I think overall, Katona, like I said, more experience, better striker, and able to blend it together much better. And that experience is there. So I think it's going to be a competitive grappling match. Both getting takedowns, both scrambling here and there. But on the striking altogether, I think Katona just at the better fight at the moment. I think it's going to be competitive. But I got Katona winning a decision. So in this fight, I have Brad Katona via decision. Now on to our next fight. We have our co-prelim headliner in the bantamweight division, Cole Smith versus Miles John. So this is an interesting fight. 2 solid prospects, 2 pretty young guys right here. I think Miles Jones is like 25 or sub 25, very young guy. Cole Smith still in his 20s too, so obviously 30 young. Whatever case, both young regardless. Nah, he like 30. But yeah, I think Cole Smith's the more experienced fighter. But I've seen a lot of real significant improvement in Miles John's Contender Series fight. Oh, now let me go back to Cole Smith. He's a longer fighter, like at 5'11", 5'10", and Miles John is 5'7", so it's gonna be significant height and reach advantage. And Cole, they both solid grapplers, but I think the height gonna actually favor Miles Jones in a way because he has lower center of gravity. He's a more explosive, athletic fighter, and I don't think Cole Smith really has any Greco background in wrestling, so it's gonna be hard for him to really get under him, especially that explosive, that fast movement and winging shots and mixing the takedown. I think Miles Jones will have the advantage in the takedown at least. Cole Smith will have the advantage as far as jiu-jitsu, grappling, maybe trying to get some reversals. But as far as who has the control over the takedown, I'll give that to Miles John. And in a fight of grappling, or with grappling going to be a significant part, or could be a significant part of this fight, and that's going to be a big factor for Miles Jones being able to control the takedown. I think with a 3-round fight, he's shown that he can keep that pace up, and that his Contender Series fight could push hard for 3 rounds, just destroy opponents. But I think it's going to be a competitive, gritty, grindy fight. But I think, like I said, controlling that center of gravity, having that explosive ability, having that athleticism, and to be able to land those big shots, the more power, going to really cause a lot of difficulty for Cole Smith. I think that really controlling that is going to allow him to set up his strikes, allow him to set up takedowns, mix in the shots, and have Cole Smith guessing a lot and wondering what's coming next. But I do think Cole Smith will have his advantages at range at times, but when Cole Smith starts to get in on the inside, mixing the shots to the body, mixing the takedowns, I think that's really called Cole Smith a lot of difficulty, but it's going to be, like I said, competitive fight. There's going to be a lot of Miles Jones trying to cover that distance, which will give Cole Smith opportunities. But other than that, I think most of the fight is going to be Miles Jones being able to get in that distance and land the shots where it's Cole Smith's going to have his opportunities at distance for a period of time, but most of the fight is going to play in Miles Jones' range, which him getting the inside, landing big shots, setting them takedown, threatening with them, or securing them, and scoring points and swaying judges, whether he's getting takedowns or not getting takedowns. It's going to be really his power, his explosiveness, athleticism. And yeah, to get to the point, close fight, but a Miles Jones fight. So in this fight, I got Miles Jones via decision. Now to our prelim headliner we have in the heavyweight division, Marcin Tybura versus Augusto Sakai. So Sakai only has 1 loss, undefeated in the UFC, but coming off a very underwhelming performance against Andrei Arlovski, in which I think he lost. You got Marcin Tybura coming off a very underwhelming performance in which he got knocked out by Marcin Tybura. So, he didn't get knocked out by himself. He got knocked out by Omari Akhmedov. Correction. So, but as far as this fight, they both had wins over Arlovski. Tybura's win was further back, but it was more clean. Sakai's one was more recent, but it was a split decision, which I think he actually lost. But looking at this fight, I like Tybura striking better. I think Sakai is a pretty solid striker. He likes to fight kind of a point fight type of style, but he does have some oomph in his punches at times. And grappling wise, Tybura is a little bit better. Striking wise, a little bit better. Power wise, a little bit better. And that's really just to tell his fighting he's just a little bit better. But the thing is he skidding right now or is he not skidding right now? If he's skidding right now, this is a perfect opportunity for Sakai to pass him. If he's not, then I think this is a perfect fight where it's a rebound fight that Tybura wins, but a close kind of technical fight, not the most exciting fight. But then again, it's heavyweight, so any fight could turn into a slugfest, one punch knock you out. But I think at this point, Tybura just had that UFC experience, and he's the more well-rounded fighter, the more versed fighter, and he has that little bit more oomph in his strikes than Sakai. And I think that oomph, that experience, will help him. Like, he'll land those more telling shots, the harder shots, and the judges will be receptive to that, and that will allow him to, I think, win a decision. So in this fight, I got Marcin Tybura via decision. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the prelims of UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus, Cerrone versus Gaethje. And as always, thanks for watching.